the third exercise. Okay, now after this we define exponentiation for all integers, but part of that has already been defined here. So we only need to define exponentiation where the exponent is a negative integer. We now define exponentiation for negative integer exponents. Let x be a non-zero rational number. Here we just have any rational number, but here we are taking a non-zero rational number. There is a reason for that. You will understand. For any positive natural number n, we define x to the power minus n to be equal to the reciprocal of x to the power n. Now look at this definition and look at the properties of exponentiation. Because x is non-zero, x is a non-zero rational number, from part B, x to the power n also has to be non-zero. It's a non-zero rational number, and because of that its reciprocal exists. That's why we needed x to be non-zero. Note that according to this same part, if x is equal to 0, then x to the power n is 0. So we could not have, had we allowed x to be 0, we could not have defined x to the power minus n like this. So that's why we need x to be non-zero. So whenever we have integer exponents, we have to carefully assume the base to be non-zero, because who knows, the exponent may be negative. In that case, if the base is 0, it's not defined. So for instance, is this a definition? Oh yes, it's a definition. Before writing this let, this is a definition of course, but it's a numbered definition, so I should have written this. Definition 4.3.11, and just like this you write after that in brackets exponentiation to a negative integer, that you write. So then after this, for instance, if x is a non-zero rational, then x to the power minus 3 is 1 upon x cube. So this is 1 divided by x times x times x. Okay, so that is the meaning of powers where the exponents are negative integers. Now finally we state a proposition which is like this, but where the exponents n and m are allowed to be any integer. So this is proposition 4312. It's also properties of exponentiation but this is 2, and the properties are like this. Let x and y be non-zero rational numbers. Now we need non-zeroness. And that's because the exponents n and m can be any integers. Then these are the 4 subdivisions. Part A is same. Same means the forms of the formulas are same. The result of course is different because here n and m are general integers. Previously they were only natural numbers. And xy whole to the power n equals x to the power n times y to the power n. Then in part B, part B is slightly different. Part B is like part C from the previous proposition. If x is greater than or equal to y and y is greater than 0, note that now we are not allowed to take greater than or equal to 0 because y cannot be equal to 0, y is non-zero. If these things happen, then x to the power n is greater than or equal to y to the power n, which is also strictly greater than 0, provided n is positive and if the exact opposite thing happens, y to the power n is greater than or equal to x to the power n, and that is greater than 0 if n is negative. They haven't said anything about what happens when n is equal to 0, because when n is 0 both the sides are equal to 1, so that thing is understood. Then part C, if x and y are both positive rational numbers and n is a non-zero integer, then x to the power n equal to y to the power n implies x is equal to y. And finally part D is just like the previous part D. We have this, and its exercise is, its proof is exercise 4. Okay, so with this we have seen whatever is there in section 4.3. After this we are going to look at the exercises.